I have a doctorate in the subject. I was a college professor teaching and researching about the subject for decades, and I currently enrich one of the largest companies in the world with the subject, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion.
When they go super viral and they don't realize that people are going to be like, well, like, because not for nothing, when you watch the video, and if you haven't watched it, you can search Texas Born 2, Am I the DEI Hire? It will come right up because everybody and their mama done stitched it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss any of our insightful content. First off, thank you so much to our subscribers for supporting this journey and for all the fantastic comments and engagement. We love hearing your thoughts, and we're committed to bringing you more videos that spark conversation. Today, we're diving into an issue that's been making waves: the impact of the removal of diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI programs from workplaces, and how many MAGA supporters who voted against these initiatives are now facing unexpected consequences. It's a clear example of the FAFO season, F around and find out, where actions have a direct impact, and some are now regretting their choices. This is going to be a tough conversation, so let's unpack it, look at the long-term effects, and highlight the real value that DEI programs bring to the workplace. Stay tuned for the full breakdown. In recent years, we've seen a wave of political decisions around the country that have impacted various sectors, including the workplace. One of the most significant moves by the Trump administration was the removal of DEI programs from federal institutions and businesses working with the government. This decision was framed as a way to remove what was seen by some as political correctness or reverse discrimination. However, for many, especially in the MAGA camp, these policies were championed as a victory. But now we're seeing the other side of that decision, and it's raising some serious questions about the broader implications.
Hey y'all, so you know that I've been in the job market, right? I was up for 2 different jobs last week, and on Monday of this week I found out that I didn't get either one. I was talking to my mom, who is a 60s hippie through and through, and she said DEI, and she kept saying DEI, DEI, and she said, you know, if you don't find something in the next 6 months, you're going to have to move out of Texas and go somewhere where they still believe in DEI. And it didn't dawn on me what she was saying to me. All I could think of in that moment of sheer rejection from 2 different companies, all I could think about was that I was the rejection. I didn't understand what the fuck she was saying. And then my personal trainer and I just worked out, which is why my face is flushed. We do it over Zoom. She lives in Washington. And I said to her, you know, I'm in a male-dominated industry. I'm usually the only woman in the room. And she goes, that's what your mom meant. You're the DEI hire. You were the DEI hire. My mom thinks I didn't get those 2 jobs because men got them. The job before that, the one in Houston, that was from like last month, a dude got that job. I don't know how to feel about this. I always felt like I had skills. I always felt like I had skills, that like I earned my place. Most women in my industry don't make it 20 fucking years like I have. Most women, the most that they make it to is 10 years. And then they bow the fuck out and find something else. And if you don't bow the fuck out after 10 years, the suicide rate of women in my industry jumps through the fucking roof. I thought I had skills. I thought I was outlasting. I thought, you want a dinosaur. We've been through it. We know what's going on. And I don't know why it didn't dawn on me that my whole career, I've just been the DEI hire because they needed to hire a woman. I was the only woman in the room because they needed to hire a woman. I don't know how to feel about this. So my whole career was a lie? Has my whole career been a... I really don't know how to feel about this. Fine.
People have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. But I know what I'm talking about. I have a doctorate in the subject. I was a college professor teaching and researching about the subject for decades, and I currently enrich one of the largest companies in the world with the subject, DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity simply means ensuring that a variety of perspectives, backgrounds, and experiences are represented. Yes, that includes differences in gender and race and ability and sexual orientation. But it also means differences in social class background, regional background, education, religion, nationality, culture, really anything that makes us different and unique. To not endorse diversity means you think that only one homogenous group, traditionally white, middle class or rich, heterosexual, able-bodied men, should have full access to an education and the workplace, and everybody else and their perspectives shouldn't. If that's what you truly believe, you're against diversity. Equity simply means creating fair access to opportunities by addressing systemic imbalances, barriers, and giving people what they need to be successful. That's what equity means. Let me show you an example. On the one side is equality, where each spectator has the same block to watch the game. But as you can see, one person can fully see the game, one person can barely see the game, and the other can't see it all. That's a problem, right? We want everyone to be able to see and enjoy the game. The other side is equity. In the equity example, people are given what they need for their unique situation, and everybody wins. Everybody can see and enjoy the game. If you don't think that everyone should have the same opportunity to enjoy the game, that we shouldn't try to make it so everyone has a chance at being successful, then you're against equity. To be clear, that means that you think we should get rid of anything that makes buildings accessible for people with disabilities, as an example. So we should get rid of elevators and ramps and automatic doors. If that's what you truly believe, keep railing against equity. Inclusion means fostering an environment where everyone feels respected and valued and safe and able to fully contribute. If you're against those things, respecting others, valuing others, you're against inclusion. So women, if you're cool with being disrespected and devalued and feeling unsafe at work or school, keep up the fight against inclusion. I hope that helps.
Veterans are DEI hires. Let me explain. So DEI wants us to diversify our workforce, right? They want us to provide equitable treatment for marginalized groups, and it wants to be an inclusive workplace. Most of the veterans that I've ever worked for or with, including myself when I came out of the military, sure, I was qualified for the job, pretty well qualified, but I was in no way more qualified than the individuals that I beat out for that job. The job I took gave me preferential treatment for being a veteran. The job I took passed over people who had 10, 20 years more experience than me because I was a veteran. And this happens all over the country. See, veterans are all DEI hires, especially if they go work in any government role. Every state offers veterans preferential treatment, every city, every county, and the federal government. And multiple, if not the majority of private businesses offers preferential hiring for veterans. Veterans are the epitome of a DEI hire. They get preferential treatments, they get extra points, they get whatever just for being a veteran. So if you're a veteran and you're against a DEI hire and you work for a government or you work in a private industry that supports veterans, you are a DEI hire.
Many MAGA voters who supported the rollback of DEI policies are now coming forward to lament their stance. Some are even sharing regret about their decisions to vote for Trump, specifically because they didn't fully grasp how the removal of DEI initiatives would affect them personally. While DEI policies were originally targeted at benefiting underrepresented communities, such as Black, Asian, and Latino groups, many didn't anticipate that it could also have a negative impact on other workers, including those who identified with MAGA or conservative viewpoints. For instance, Some individuals who were employed in industries where DEI policies were prominent have been let go or faced significant professional setbacks. The very DEI programs that they voted to dismantle were what created the groundwork for more inclusive and fair workplaces. Now that those programs are gone, many are realizing that workplace cultures have shifted, leaving them vulnerable in an environment where inclusivity and understanding have now become a priority in many sectors. The consequences of choices this situation is a stark reminder of how decisions made in the political arena can trickle down into personal and professional lives. While MAGA voters may have supported policies that seem to benefit them in the short term, the long-term consequences are now coming into focus. The removal of DEI initiatives didn't just affect marginalized groups. It disrupted a broader cultural shift toward diversity and inclusivity, which many people, including those in traditionally dominant groups, have come to depend on for growth, innovation, and stability in their community. The reality is that DEI programs aren't just about helping those who've been historically underrepresented. They create more robust organizations by promoting a culture of respect, open-mindedness, and collaboration. They help businesses connect with diverse consumer bases, adapt to global markets, and build strong teams. So when these programs were dismantled, it didn't just hurt marginalized groups. It created an environment where workplaces could lose the very qualities that drive success in the modern economy. The FAFO effect. MAGA voters facing the consequences, and here's where the FAFO season comes in. The slogan, F around and find out, rings true in this context, as many MAGA supporters who voted to roll back DEI policies are now finding themselves caught in the aftermath. They didn't think about the long-term consequences of dismantling these initiatives, and now they're realizing how it affects them as well.
If you think DEI is just about race and gender, you're missing the bigger picture. Trump's new executive orders rolling back DEI initiatives, it's now impacting organizations in the private sector. So let's talk about what this actually means. I've been a recruiting and HR leader for over a decade, and there's a big misconception that if you're not in this field and line of work or in a hiring manager position, you think DEI is all about hiring a certain number of people to meet a quota, and that is not the case. It's also about diversity of thought. It's about creating spaces from different backgrounds and experiences that see the world differently and creating a safe environment for them to thrive in. It's still about hiring the most qualified person for the job, and it evens the playing field. When we eliminate these DEI programs, we're not just shutting out marginalized groups, we are shutting down innovation. The best companies, the best leaders, the best organizations thrive. They're successful because they don't just have people at the table that look and think like them. They have different experiences. They come from different companies. They learn different ways of solving problems. And because of that innovation, they can succeed. I'm terrified that when we take this away, we risk having a safe place for people to speak up, for people to think differently, to see the world differently, to solve problems differently, because you're only learning one way of doing things.
So Disney's in an FAFO situation, without a doubt, against the tan man, okay? Now, I shouldn't even say against, with, or he's coming at them. And if you don't know anything about this, the parent company, ABC, was sued by Trump some time ago after an interview, pre-election. And, you know, there's all sorts of things that you can go up in the search bar and look to learn about it. Anyways, Disney settled with him, okay? They settled with him in some sort of bribery act so that he would leave them alone. Lo and behold, his people have launched a full investigation into their DE&I practices, that they are in overuse. And why would he do that? Well, because he's him, right? And if you don't know what DEI is, or if you're not in favor of DEI, you're definitely in favor of everything that is not, which is white males, nationalists, white supremacy. I mean, that's all it is. And Disney should have known not to dance with the devil. He always finds a way. He always finds a way. You know, nothing surprises me at this point. So go check it out.
Now, Texas Born 2 got here on this here app and talked about how she just realized that she has been the DEI hire for over 20 years. Her mama tried to tell her, and she thought her mom was just being obtuse and she didn't get it. Her trainer finally broke it down to her once she told the trainer she had been in a male-dominated industry, and the trainer said, well, that's what your mom meant when she said DEI. And then she has a light bulb moment. Texas Born 2 has made her account private because she done went viral. I'm talking about she's so viral that it done popped up on my For You page multiple times. And here's what annoys me about people like Texas Born 2. When they go super viral and they don't realize that people are going to be like, well, what the hell did you think you was? Like, because not for nothing, you know, when you watch the video, and if you haven't watched it, you can search Texas Born 2, am I the DEI hire? It will come right up because everybody and their mama done stitched it. You can see the light bulb going off, whereas the rest of us who are looking, we're like, girl, the call is coming from inside the house. But when she thinks about DEI, you see that she does not equate herself to DEI. And for years, a lot of people have been trying to sell to a very specific demographic that they are the top beneficiaries from DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the thing that we have had to tell people over and over again is that DEI is beneficial to so many subcategories that people don't even realize. And Texas Born 2 really has an FAFO moment. And baby, when she realized the call is coming from inside the house, she is now rethinking her entire career. Was her entire career a lie? Now, I don't believe her entire career was a lie, right? I do believe that she probably has learned a lot. I do believe that she may have supposed to have been in them rooms, but the first opportunity they got to relieve her of their position, they decided to go with nepotism and the good old boys club, and she has found out.
These voters are now in a tough position, where their previous choices have directly impacted their professional opportunities. It's a perfect example of how ignoring the broader picture or voting with short-term gain in mind can lead to unexpected, often harsh, consequences. In essence, they found out that DEI initiatives were more than just a political issue. They were a necessary component in creating a fair and balanced work environment for everyone. So, what does this all mean? It's a wake-up call, a reminder that political decisions have real-world effects, and sometimes those effects are felt far beyond what we initially expect. We all have to be mindful of the broader consequences of our choices, especially when it comes to policies that impact not just a few, but entire communities, both inside and outside the workplace. The DEI debate is far from over, and as the MAGA community continues to feel the effects of their previous stances, we'll likely see more changes and discussions in the future. Big thanks to the creators and sources that informed today's video. Special shout out to Creator's Name for their insightful commentary on the impact of DEI policies. You can check out their work, linked to Creator's platform, where they dive even deeper into this subject. If you've enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the removal of DEI policies will have lasting consequences for MAGA voters, or is there hope for a more inclusive future? We'd love to hear your perspective. And as always, we'll be back soon with more videos. Thanks for watching, and remember, every choice has consequences. See you in the next video. Until then, be good and remain positive.